kids.
We're gonna watch football out there. I'm sure Kai will make you.
I will.
No.
You're watching me.
Got a whole nother day tomorrow.
A whole new day.
What was it you said I should say when I do my welcome to the translations?
Welcome to the German translation panel.
Yeah.
It's like, what was it? It was what you said yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
So usually what I do is people are coming in, I'm like, I do an impression of a German person going, welcome to translations of anime into German. You're in the right room, yes?
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah.
Have all your questions ready. I'm sure you have many questions, you know. Hello, how are you? Good morning to you. And we're almost into Swedish, but that's all right. Welcome to translations of anime into Swedish. My name is Ingvar Forling, and I will be your host today. Actually, Ingvar Forling is a friend of mine from the Netherlands, so yeah, he actually talks like that. And I don't know how to pronounce his name. I saw him in England, and I said, so how do you really pronounce your name? And he goes, Ingvar. And I went, Ingvar, and he goes, no, Ingvar. And I went, Ingvar, and he goes, no, it's gotta be close, you know? And for your information, my name is not Sonny, it's Sonny. So, and I know you're close enough though, when you say Sonny.
Sonny.
People in other countries, they're like, no, you got to get it right.
Sonny and Cher.
Ingvar has got to be really close to what his name is, but no, it's not close enough.
Sonny and Cher.
I'm gonna start doing that in other countries. No, it's Sonny. And I go, Sonny? No, Sonny. What's wrong with you? Sonny.
And Cher.
With an American accent, please.
And then they'll be like, damn that American.
Damn it, I can't do it. I can't speak American. No, just give it up.
Sonny and Cher.
How do they say it in England? Sonny. Sonny. Sonny.
Sonny.
Hello, Sonny.
Sonny boy.
Sonny boy. My Sonny mate. How are you? How are you, Sonny mate? That's in Australia. Hey, Sonny. Sonny, how are you?
Hi, Sonny. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thank
All right. No worries.
The shrimp and the Barbie.
Should be right, yeah. Oh, speaking of, for coming to my panel, I usually sell my prints for $20 at the table, but if you come to my panel, these are 10. I will sell them to you at 10 at the end. Cash is preferred, but we do have a credit card. This is something I drew when I went to Australia and toured there. They have a phrase in Australia, when things go wrong, they go, should be right, mate. So I drew Krillin in having the worst day, everything bad that's ever happened to Krillin just about, and his wife, Android 18, saying, she'll be right, mate, and kissing him. So those will be available at the end. I'll give you like the last 15 minutes if you want to. Or if you just want to come up here and ask me a question you were afraid to ask during the panel. But it's still early yet, isn't it? What time is it?
It is 4:03.
Oh, it's not early at all, it's late. Oh well, I guess we'll just start again tomorrow. Let's just quit now. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah? Enjoying the con?
Yes.
Well, this is Full Metal Alchemist Through the Eyes of Maes Hughes is the panel. And I will be here to answer all your questions about Full Metal Alchemist. Just remember that I died pretty quickly. The first season, the first series, I died in episode 25, I think.
Wow.
And then the next one, it was like episode 9.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot that happened after that. I was too busy looking for work. Huh?
Said he learned too much too early.
Yeah, exactly. Way too fast. The first one, they actually took their time with it and everything. The second one, oh, you know, he dies, so let's just get that over with. Come
We're
on.
like, we've done this twice already.
Exactly. We don't need to see this again. Although I do like. So I, what?
They won't bet a manga. So.
And I appreciate that too, because generally they're very good in Japan about taking the original creation and being very true to it. But on that one in particular, they didn't. They went in a different direction. I think because it wasn't finished, right?
Yeah,
So they had to figure out a way to make it work.
I think what happened was they caught up to what was written, and they were like, well, we don't know where to go from here, so we'll just do our own thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that they actually went back and did it again. Although,
They still wrapped up the original with Shambhala.
yeah, that's true, because by then he probably knew where he was going, right? Or he might have already gotten there by then. Yeah, it's weird, but I do appreciate that the Japanese stay very true to the comic book version. America, Hollywood still, I think they don't get it right. Marvel gets it pretty close. Marvel tries to stay as close to the original without being too cheesy. And when they do, their movies are successful. But DC just, let's just go in a completely different direction. You know, would it be cool if Superman was depressed? No, it wouldn't. It would not be cool. Superman is not, how can you be depressed when you can fly? Honestly. Would you be depressed being able to fly? No.
Also, if he goes evil, the world is over.
Yeah, that's true.
Superman turns evil.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not gonna last. Although, you guys are too young to remember when they did the death of Superman in the comic books years ago?
Oh, you know Doomsday?
Yeah, Doomsday. That, we were talking about Simon Bisley, one of our favorite artists. Simon Bisley, though, he was talking about that, and he said he was so disappointed. He said, if I was gonna do the death of Superman, you would see like earthquakes and tidal waves. The world would just be ruined at the end. Because there's no way that two Supermen battling out each other is not going to leave just damage that's not repairable, you know. And I agree. It was just kind of like, some minimal structural damage, and that was it. It's like, for the death of Superman? No. Especially back then, because he was much more powerful then they retconned the whole thing.
They're not allowed to show casualties.
What?
They're not allowed to show casualties. Like, straight up.
That's not true. They did, like in Crisis on Infinite Earth, people were dying left and right. Supergirl died right on the cover.
Superheroes can die.
Oh, people can't die.
Regular people are not supposed to die.
That they're boring. They should die. We should all just die. Welcome to translations of anime into German. I am Hans. I will be here to answer all your questions. If you don't have any questions, we will stare at each other and think about the war. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Da is da or ja?
Doppelshare?
Well, da is Russian, isn't it?
That's Russia.
Yeah.
Ja is German.
Russian. How do you do? Do свидания. How do you do Russian accent? It's like this. Russian is more like this, right? Yes. We will do translations into Russian better. It's much better. Because now, lots of anime has Russian in it. Have you guys noticed that? There's like a trend in anime. They're just obsessed with Russia. It's almost like they're being written by Donald Trump. What?
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
How many Republicans do we have in here? Not many. Just one in the back. Hi, welcome. I will do this in Russian for you. A what? I'm the last moderate Democrat. We probably have the same values on everything.
I'm
Right in the
registered
middle.
Republican, but I really don't support anything they do.
You are a Republican if you don't support anything they do? That's a good plan. I think I'm going to do that too. I actually don't affiliate with any party. I can't. They're all just idiots and or evil, you know. Kind of like people who run the comic book industry. So this is a Q&A about Full Metal Alchemist, but you know, I understand that there's not a lot of panels we do at these things, so you may have questions that are not necessarily Full Metal Alchemist. Just to let you know, I'm a comic book artist. I've been a writer at Funimation, and I've been a director at Funimation. So if you have questions about how to get into those industries or anything about them at all, I will answer all of your questions. But here's the thing, since there's not very many people in here, you have to ask a question. If nobody asks a question, what I do is I start with this man right here. He has to ask a question. And then she has to ask a question, and you have to ask a question, and you have to ask a question. And I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. Anything at all. And I will, find ways to avoid answering. But you can ask me whatever you want, and then we'll do it. So we've BS'd enough. Let's get into the real meat of this thing and Q&A. And it looks like we have a cue from the cameraman. Yes?
Yeah, so what do you think when they, for the Full Metal Alchemist, they transformed it into that Japanese movie?
Yeah. They did that movie, the live action movie?
Yeah.
What about it?
No, so what do you think about it?
I think it's great. I mean, honestly, it's like people ask me about Team 4-Star all the time. And I think it's great because it just keeps the name out there and stuff like that. I never saw the movie, but good or bad, it's good.
I saw it.
Even Evolution, the Dragon Ball movie, still good publicity, and made us look great. People are like, wow, I didn't realize that the Funimation cast was geniuses till I saw that movie. And then I realized, we were graded on a curve though. Yeah.
I don't have a Full Metal Alchemist question.
Okay, then you can leave. Thank you for coming, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's your question then?
It's about Krillin.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, Gayla, can you give me a cough drop? Especially if you're going to ask me about questions about Krillin.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Kamehameha Halls. Thank you.
Uh-oh, you need a lot of them.
Yeah, I should buy stock
Yeah.
because I cause it to go up.
Yeah.
Okay, so question about Krillin.
Yeah, just your opinion on like, what do you think of him? He's technically the strongest human on planet Earth.
Not technically, he is the strongest human.
Yeah.
Beyond
he
any
is.
doubt. No, Yamcha, not even close.
Nope.
Tien, not even human, honestly.
What do you think of him not having a nose?
Well, then, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Although it can happen. Did you see they posted a baby that was born without a nose? And it looked like a little baby Krillin. It was very, very interesting. Yeah. It's kind of cute and frightening, you know? Like a Tim Burton movie or something. But yeah, I love Krillin. Was that the question? What about being strongest human? Well, Akira Toriyama already said he's the strongest human. And now, in Super, you know, he defeats somebody that defeats 18. And you know 18 can beat at least Super Saiyan 1 easily. So that means that Krillin is now at a Super Saiyan 1 skill level. So, yeah, he's a badass. For a human being.
Yeah.
And I also think that he could do Ultra Instinct. You know, he's a good enough martial artist. He should be practicing that because I think he could do it.
It's not tied to like sand.
It's not tied to Saiyan strength or anything like that. It's more of a technique, you know, it's a state of being. Yeah, and you remember when he was looking for the weed for Master Roshi with Goku? And he found a way to get peace within himself so he could focus, you know, and then just like think of nothing and just be and then defeat all his enemies. I mean, that's really right on the path of Ultra Instinct. I think he could probably do it. It'd be cool. Yeah. Are you done with me? Okay. I enjoy talking to you, and I don't want to talk to these mugs. I want to talk to you. Oh, okay. We'll move on to somebody else.
Hey,
No.
I'll ask all the questions.
Oh, well, you just come up here and sit next to me.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
What's your name?
Huh?
I mean, not your name. What's your question? I already know your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of then Shambhala movie? Hughes essentially is the Nazi and the
That was
villain.
really weird, right? Because that was after the first series, and you know, Hughes dies at episode 25. And Mike McFarlane directed that particular episode. The whole series was directed by Colleen Glickenbeard and Mike McFarlane. But he knew how important that episode was going to be, so he gave me the script and a copy of the video beforehand, and we don't ever get that. We usually just go in cold. We don't know what we're going to do that day. But I had a week to prepare so that we could make that a really good episode. But then after that, he was dead, you know? And I was sad because I was unemployed. And he told me one day, I came up to work for something, it might have been Dragon Ball, and he said, by the way, Hughes died on TV last night. And I went, oh, great, you know, whatever. He goes, oh, does that make you sad? I went, yeah. And he was a really cool character. I love playing him. He goes, well, I'm going to show you something that's going to cheer you up. And he took me to the website, to several websites, where people were crying because Hughes died the night before.
I was probably on it.
And I was like, yes. I made the nation cry. That's a great thing, you know? That's better than going to season 2. But then, he was dead, and then I get a call later in the year, and he said, hey, we need you to come in and do some more Hughes. And I went, what? Like, zombie Hughes? What's going on? He goes, no. It's Envy as Hughes. And I went, oh, evil Hughes. Okay, that's cool. So I got to do evil Hughes, but then I thought, that's it. I'm never going to do Hughes again, right? Well, then he says, okay, we need to do Hughes again. We're doing a movie. And I went, oh, awesome. I cannot wait to be going on about my daughter and stuff like that. He goes, oh, well, he doesn't have a daughter.
What?
And I was like, what? Yeah, he doesn't even have a wife. What?
What?
And he's a Nazi.
What?
And I was like, what? He's a Nazi? Okay, this is not really Hughes, is it? No, it's just a sad guy who was a Nazi, you know. But he's done. And that's what that was like. It was cool to do him, but it was a little disappointing because it wasn't really Hughes. But I thought that was it. And then we got the new series, and then we got those OVAs, and I was like, dude, maybe I should not say goodbye to this character. He may be coming back next week, we don't know. Hi. Like those candid shots.
I'm gonna make sure this is like all.
How about do this like I'm like yelling at somebody? No, you're wrong! I've been doing this business for 20 years! You think you know what's up? You have no idea what's up! I was there, man! I was there!
Drop the mic.
Right. This is why I always need cough drops, because I can't shut up. Any other questions? Yes.
What was your reaction to what happened to Nina?
Can't stand beside her.
That was cool, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
That was cool. Those of you guys who know the show, what we're talking about. Yeah. I mean, she's cute, kind of a dog, but whatever. All right. Sorry. Any other questions about transforming people into animals? Or anything? You know what's going to happen. We're gonna go over to you.
I can ask you
Oh, you
characters.
Okay, what's that?
Tell us about your daughter.
Oh, my daughter. She's. You know what? Let me call Roy.
Hello.
Hey, Roy. Yeah, it's Hughes, man. Listen, I was thinking about you the other day. I was out at the beach with my daughter Alicia, and I was taking pictures of her. And she was in a little bikini, and I know she's a little young for a bikini, but oh my God, she was so adorable. Now listen, man. I was thinking about I think you should get yourself a wife. And if you got yourself a wife, you could have kids of your own and take pictures of them, and then we can trade them like trading cards, okay? Get yourself a wife. Click. There you go. How's that? Yeah, you can applaud if you want. That's fine.
God.
Thank you. I love the play.
Oh yeah.
Could you do that again?
No. Next question. No? Okay. Your question. You have to ask a question. That's the rules of this game. And it could be anything. Anything at all. Except don't ask about my device that can travel faster than the speed of light, because I can't tell you yet.
Well, now I want to know.
Yeah, avoid that altogether. No. It involves absolute zero temperatures, and I just don't want to go into it. Plus, I don't want anybody patenting it before me.
So you said you were a director at
Yeah.
some point. So what was probably your most difficult moment of being a director?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Okay, this is why I like doing this, because people who don't ever ask questions ask me questions that I've never heard before. The most difficult thing to do as a director, you know what it is? It's overcoming your desire to tell people how to say something. You know, like when I first started directing, Chris Sabat was the main director at Funimation. And then we started branching out and getting other, I think Mike McFarlane was the next one, and I was the third person to start directing at Funimation. And he said, when you're directing, really listen to what the actors are giving you. It might not be what's in your head, but what's in your head is probably cliche, because we always think of cliches first. If they're giving you something different, but it works, go with them. Mainly because actors have fragile egos, and you can shatter them. But not only that, actors will also, if you feed their egos, will be more creative, you know? And so you've got, I really rely on my actors. I want them, I cast them because I want them to bring something I would not do myself. I cannot stand being directed by people who give me a line read for everything. I'm like, why did you cast me, you know? Unless you wanted me to do something off the wall, because that's generally what I do. And like Chris Sabat, when I bring him in to direct, if I'm directing him, I always think I know what he's going to do. And it's never what I think it's in my head, but it always works, and I always go with that. And that's the kind of actors I seek out to, the people that I know can do something that goes beyond the script, you know, beyond this moment. They can actually live that moment. And if you're an actor living that moment, you're going to give the most believable read possible, because you're there, right? And that's what you want from an actor, is someone who can be in the moment and be that character. Good question. Any other questions? Oh, in the back here.
When you're have you ever done a project, whether directing or being an actor or any any role, anything that was that you particularly hated or was frustrating?
You know, generally, no. And I'm very fortunate when I got into but I went into voice acting when I was 33. So before that, I had many jobs I hated going to work for. But I have never said, oh man, I gotta go to work. I really love voice acting, I love directing. But I did, one time I was walking in the hallway of Funimation, and a lot of times that's a way to get cast too. If you're already working, it's easier to get a job because the director will go, oh, Sonny, he could do that, right? Because we're always, as directors, you're always casting. And you always have new characters that come up on every episode, so you're like, oh, who could do this guy, right? Well, Chris Bevins said, Sonny, you got time to do a part? And I said, sure. And I came in there and he said, it's this guy who's buying soiled panties from a soiled panty store. And I was like, ooh, gross. I didn't know that existed. I'm like, what do you do with soiled panties? I mean, make soup, I guess. I'm not sure what you do. But, so I played this really disgusting, pervy guy, and he eventually gets gang raped in an alley. And the worst thing about that entire experience is it didn't bother me at all. It was just like, it's $50, you know, and move on. No big deal. But that's the closest I've ever been disturbed by something I had to do at Funimation. Any other questions? Somebody hasn't asked a question here?
So as someone who's actually a professional writer, what is your opinion of people writing fan fiction, especially when it's kind of utilizing an intellectual property that isn't technically theirs?
I don't have a problem with that unless they're trying to sell it. But even then, I don't really have a problem with it. But like in Japan, they have conventions for people who make their own manga that's just other characters from other mangas, right? I don't know what the name of that is, but the entire convention, what? You know what it is? Yeah, it's amazing. You know, these people, and a lot of times they get recruited to work for the actual companies, you know, from those things. And they don't mind in Japan. What's weird though is that Japan does mind when we do that here. But in Japan they don't care. Personally, I don't care. I mean, honestly, nobody's gonna get that confused with the actual product, right? And also it's good practice to write, especially if you're not selling it. But like one kid, he wrote this story, and it was a great story. It was about Piccolo on Earth, but everybody on Earth had died. And he was just him trying to survive day to day, just him and a bunch of mutants and stuff like that. This alien on our planet trying to fight mutants. And I said, you know, if you change his name to anything else, you've got an original idea here. So, and he was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So he just retooled it, you know, called it something else, and then went on to become a major player in Hollywood. No, I don't know what he did with it. But honestly, I mean, yeah, there's no problem with fanfic, but you might want to think, if I have a really original idea with these characters, just change the names and all of a sudden you got an original idea, you know. What about you? Do you do fanfic?
Yeah, that's what I asked, yeah.
I once found like years ago, it's like 20 years ago, I found a fanfic online that was me and Chris Sabat. It was about us personally and our sexual escapades. Oh. And I know, I didn't save it. That's the worst thing, because that would have been a great gift. Like 20 years later, to go, hey, I wrote something for you.
Oh gosh.
Live read at panels.
Yeah. Any other questions about fanfic or yeah?
You ever go like to the for the McDonald's drive-through and do your character voice?
No.
Never?
No, I don't go through it. Hey, I would like a cheeseburger.
A Big Mac.
And what do you want, 18? What do you want? And take 2 cheeseburgers. Wait, I'm sorry, 3 cheeseburgers. Eats a lot for an android. Yeah, no, I've never done that. No. I don't know. I think it would confuse somebody. Like, what? Like, I tell people in person, I'll tell them I do that, and they don't understand what I'm saying. And then it's like you just can't hear that. You know, you what? Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, I like Dragon Ball Z too. No, I'm on Dragon Ball Z. You think you're really on it? You like to watch it? No, I play Krillin. What? I'm the voice of Krillin. What? I play Krillin. Oh, what? Ah!
Oh, okay.
So no, if I just did that at a drive-through, they'd just go, well, something wrong, and I don't. You take over the mic. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. I'm tired of this job. People are weird. All right, what's your question?
What were your initial impressions of Usopp, and did you expect him to become like this, muscular,
Well, that took a long time before he got that big.
I know, but were you surprised? Or?
I was really surprised by that. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Oda said that he's now as strong as Zoro was before the time skip. So that's pretty cool. But my initial impression of him was, I remember the first week I was recording, and I told Mike, I said, this guy screams a lot. Does he scream all the time? He goes, oh, no. This is a high stakes episode here. That's all. He's not going to scream for the whole series. Cut to, 15 years later, he screams more now than he did then. And that's a tough voice to do. Somebody was, you guys know I did President Mike on My Hero Academia. I had to quit that role because in season 2, his regular voice is like this. Hey, welcome everybody. It's just old school radio stuff, right? Hey. But when he screams, doing that voice with screaming, just shredded my vocal cords. I got laryngitis, and it turned into pneumonia. And then I told Colleen, I said, look, maybe if I direct myself, because at the time I was still directing at Funimation. And she goes, okay, whatever it takes to get the part. And I directed myself 2 lines with him screaming, and I could feel the laryngitis coming back. And I was like, I've never had to do this. I have to stop doing this character. It's just too bad. It's too hard on my vocal cords. And it sucks because it was such a great show. It's a great popular show, to give that up. But people still ask me to sign for it since I was the first voice, so I get all the credit without having to word my voice.
I hope you don't have to give up on Usopp.
But Usopp, for some reason, I can scream like Usopp all day, I usually limit it to 2 hours, though, and I have to have at least a day in between where I can rest. When I first got the part, a friend of mine, she was a vocal coach, and she was talking about, how you should do warm-up exercises beforehand. And I said, well, I got this character that's very tough, on vocal cords. And she said, well, warm up 2 hours before you record, and then rest, and then 2 hours after you record, warm up again. I said, okay. And she goes, well, what does he sound like? And I said, oh, he talks like this. And she went, oh, don't do that. Don't do that voice. I went, I have to. It's set now. I have to do this voice. She goes, oh my God. And I was like, it's my job. I don't mind. She goes, well, warm up beforehand, and then try not to speak at all for 24 hours after you do that. And I try that, but it's too hard not to speak. Yeah?
So, being able to do voices like that and push yourself like that, is that really a lot of practice and then rest, like what she was talking to you about, just coaching?
Some people don't, but here's the thing. The people who don't are new at it, and I tell them, you gotta warm up ahead. I can still talk because I warm up beforehand. And I've been doing this 20 years. And the fact that I still have most of my voice after 20 years is remarkable. I don't plan on having anything left. I consider like a professional athlete. They limp toward their last years. It's like, yeah, because they used up what they had. That's what their job is, I don't mind the damage, especially after 20 years of doing it. But you can minimize the damage by doing warm-ups. Very simple. Anybody want to be voice actor in here? Oh, okay. A very simple warm-up. Everyone do this with me. Close your mouth. Lightly hum the highest note you can hit. And then go down to the lowest. And you just do that until it's nice and flexible. And then I go through the alphabet. I pronounce the letters of the alphabet. And then if you do that, your diction improves quite a bit because you've already pronounced every letter in the alphabet. Also, if you're going to do an accent, like if you're doing an English accent, do it in English. And then, you're really into the voice, right? Right. Any other questions? Jeez.
Do you have any favorite underrated roles? Like I was watching Dr. Stone last night.
Yeah.
Found you as Mantle.
Oh, you like that one?
I just recognized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just those little
Yeah.
roles that people come up to you who say these little bit roles.
You guys see Kenichi?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I play Apachai on that, and I love that look when people want to say Apachai. Oh, what?
And then I was talking to you about all those different case closed roles.
Oh yeah, I played a lot of roles on Case Closed. Back then though, we had like 25 actors, so we played a lot of roles. But Apachai, I think, to answer your question, that's one of the most ones that people don't understand. A lot of people don't even know I did it, but I think it's an underrated show too. It's a really good show. That was also one I took a real risk on the audition. In the Japanese, the Seiyu, everything is in this level here. He's like, hey, are we going up, yeah. And I thought, since he's a huge guy, and he's supposed to be from another country, so he has to have a bit of an accent. I thought, what if he talked like this, but he would break into the as like a nervous tick or something, so he'd be like, Kenichi, what is it? What was it? The name of the fighting technique he did?
Muay Thai?
Muay Thai. Muay Thai is the art of bare hand man killing. You know, you just go right into it, right? Or if he's attacking. And I did that in the audition, and I want to say Monica directed that. And Monica went, oh, that's interesting. So she cast me because of it. Sometimes the risk will pay off. Generally, we try to find people who sound just like the Japanese, but sometimes, you know, some people have a take that's different, but still honors the intention of the character, and so it's kind of cool to take those kind of risks. Yes?
Have you ever messed up a role?
Messed up a role?
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, like an audition, sorry.
Oh yeah, all the time. Well, no, not necessarily. I can say that sometimes I didn't quite get what the director was wanting, you know. But usually I don't audition too much these days. They just sort of go, oh, that's a Sonny role, and they'll give it to me. But I did do an audition recently, and I told the director as I was going, I said, I'm doing this audition with a difficulty of about a 6 or 7 because I really have to pee, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I didn't get the part though, so yeah, there you go. Always urinate before an audition. Yes?
What's your favorite Funimation show that you didn't direct, write, or voice for?
Probably Sergeant Frog. I mean, I did end up doing some parts for that in the end, but I love that show and I really wanted to be one of the main cast members, but I didn't get on that one. But other than that, I've been very lucky. I got the parts I really wanted. Yeah?
How do you feel about the big Manuel controversy?
Ooh. That's a big controversy. I tell people all the time, it's none of my business. It's just the business between Vic and the people that are accusing him. And just let the courts decide whatever they want to. But honestly, I wasn't there, so what can I say, you know? I mean, either way, you know?
I never heard of it.
Huh?
I never heard of that situation.
Don't look it up. It's depressing. It really is depressing, and it's really what I hate about it most is divided up the anime community, which for 20 years has been the sweetest, most loving group of people I've ever met, and now they just hate each other. They've drawn lines just like everybody else in our society between Republicans and Democrats, and now kick Vic and I stand with Vic, and it's just a mess.
I wish people could just love each other, but that's like impossible.
Yeah, well the problem is that because of Twitter and everything, everybody's into everybody's personal business.
That is true.
Right, so I mean if there wasn't such thing as Twitter, whether these events happened or not, they would have been handled without anybody probably even knowing about it, you know? But now it's in everybody's face and everybody has an opinion on it, and it's just like, just stop. None of you know, I don't know, you don't know, so just stay away from it. Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, when you do have these controversies, especially with aforementioned and
Yeah.
with things like video games or what's causing violence and just stuff like that, how do you ground yourself to keep on continuing doing what you enjoy and what you love?
Honestly, it doesn't come up every day, you know, so it's not even that big of a deal, but I usually, unless it involves me directly, I just try to stay out of it. And I'm pretty controversy free, so, you know, it doesn't really affect me that much. Yeah.
what's the, what's the decision on, like...
And those people are either I stand with Vic or kick Vic, because they're out of here. Yeah. See what happens when you bring that question up?
Yeah.
You divided the room up. I was a total neutral stance, and that was like, that's not too far. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So what's like Funimation's like decision making on like covering openings and endings for particular shows like Dragon Ball?
Covering the opening? What do you mean?
Like what Meredith.
Oh, doing the singing of it and everything?
Like what Meredith did with One
Oh,
Piece
yeah.
opening.
It's different. Depends. Sometimes it depends on the budget we have. You know, whether we can afford to do our own thing, or if we can get a licensing deal that allows us to sing the songs. You know.
That's why I was like wondering, like, why do they have the voice actors singing the Dragon Ball Z opening?
Yeah. A lot of it depends on what the contracts are, whatever they negotiated that time. I loved being able to sing. It was Dragon Ball Z Kai Season 5. I got to do the singing for that one, which was odd. It's because my wife, Gayla over there, who's checking her phone, she and I were in a band, and somebody said, well, Sonny sings in a band, you know, let him try this. So I got to do that. Somebody just happened to see us locally. But yeah, again, it depends on the contract, what kind of deal they can get.
Okay.
Any other questions?
The same way.
Huh?
I got cast the same way.
Oh, that's true. She sang on a promo for Robo Geisha. It was like this really bad live action thing. Disgusting.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. But they wanted somebody to do like a kind of a rockabilly kind of thing, and they heard us singing together, and they contacted the girl who books everyone and said, can you ask Sonny if it'd be all right if that girl in his band sings?
It was my band.
Yeah. And she said, well, it's Sonny's wife, so I'm sure she'll be okay with it. And he goes, oh, okay, bring her in. So she came in. I always say this about Funimation. If you have any kind of talent and you live within a 100-mile radius, you'll probably be used at one time or another. It's like a talent-sucking machine. It grabs talent from the area.
Where is Funimation located?
Grapevine, Texas. It's near DFW Airport.
Oh, well, good.
Conveniently located for all of our Japanese partners who fly in. They just get off the airport and they're there in like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Have you two ever cosplayed Maes and Alicia?
No, we have not.
Have you thought about it?
No. Closest I ever came, I was at a convention and a guy was an MC that was announcing me on a panel, and he had a Maes Hughes jacket on. So I said, can I borrow that? So I wore it out for the panel, but that's the closest I've ever come to cosplaying Maes Hughes. Except, you know, that I wear glasses all the time, but, you know, that's not on purpose. It's because God hates me. Yeah.
What's your favorite quality of Maes? Like, what's your favorite personality trait of Maes?
Probably his devotion to his daughter. You know, I'm a proud father, and when I actually auditioned for the role, one of the lines we had to read was, sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to, right? And Colleen was holding the auditions. She goes, hey, Sonny, we're going to go out for drinks after auditions today. You want to go? And I said, sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to. And she went, oh my God, he is Hughes. And so she cast me before I left the door in her head, so. Yeah, so if you can prove that you are the character if you're auditioning, it helps. Any other questions? Yeah.
I know that you played like weren't you the psychos in Borderlands 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm also, well, no, I've returned, but they actually gave me a named role this time. I play this robot called Sparrow. He's like, hey, how's it going, man? Welcome. We're here to guide you through this, everything. It's almost like my Koro Sensei voice, but like a little high.
Are you also the coffee bot?
Huh?
Are you also the coffee bot? Like
No.
the barista?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was several characters in 2, though. I played tons of the psychos, and I played one of the loaders that becomes a jukebox, and I think I played a general or something, but yeah.
Oh, General Knox.
Yeah, I think that was him, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I could be wrong, but it's been a while. Yeah, Borderlands was fun. Video games are great. If you guys want to be voice actors, video games is what you should focus on. That pays the most money. You know, I mean, you can make, well, you can, if you're in Hollywood and you're a union, you can make $40,000 off a video game. A friend of mine made that on a Sims game once. But generally not that high, but you can expect at least $200 an hour for a video game. Yeah. And that's even like the low ones, like the low rent video games, you can get like $200 an hour. Now, the great thing about being a voice actor for anime, especially if it's a popular show, they'll send you to conventions, you know, which is another way to supplement your career. Yeah.
Were you part of the voice actors striking against like video game companies for underpaying them?
No, because we are in Texas and it's a right to work state. So unions actually kind of get in the way of your career there. I know actually a lot of people who get into the voice acting industry want to do anime, so they'll go by a different name so they can work in Texas and other places that don't have unions and stuff like that, so the union won't get mad at them. But yeah, it's tough, yeah. But luckily, we just recently got up to union rates, you know, because we wanted to use people who are union. So, and plus Funimation now makes a lot more money, so they can afford to do that. But for years, we were way underneath union, but also we lived in Texas, so the money goes much further. In California, you make $30, you know, it's like making 15 in Texas, you know, or reversed. Yeah, no, sorry, that's right, 15. I'm not good at math. Yeah.
What do you think of like how does it work when it comes to like changing the script a little bit to be like either more American or more modern?
We used to do that. That used to be like the motto at Funimation, was to Americanize the heck out of these scripts.
I remember a particular scene, I have a poster of it. It's where Vegeta says Mondo Cool.
Yeah.
Krillin says Mondo
Yeah.
Cool.
And Krillin never says Mondo Cool in the Japanese. And I remember when the first time Krillin had to say Mondo Cool, I went, really?
Yeah, come on.
And Chris was like, yeah, we should change that. And I said, what can we change it? We thought about it for a minute, and I said, nah, I'll just sell it, you know, and he goes, okay, so we did it. But it was so stupid. But generally we try not to now these days. We try to stick close to the original content. I remember actually when we did Fruits Basket, that's when policy changed. Because Fruits Basket was very unusual. Justin Cook decided that he wanted to do it very tonally, you know, very Japanese. And so we were very true to the original Japanese, right? And then, but we were all looking at him like, this is the strangest way to direct, you know? Why are you trying to push us this way? Because our policy up until that point was to be, hey, let's be American, right? But when we saw it, we all just thought it was brilliant, right? And we're like, oh my God, we should just always stay true to the original content. What have we been doing, right? Well then, I remember all of the directors, oh, hang on, Sean Schimmel, hang on a second. Hey, Sean, what's going on? I'm on a panel right now. Yeah, you want to say hi? Say hi. No? Yeah. Okay, Sean Schimmel just asked me if it's okay to make a puppet of me. Like a marionette or like a Muppet style puppet?
A Muppet.
Paperback.
Yeah?
Yeah, it does.
Sorry, Sean's still talking. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I would definitely want to see this puppet of me.
I can see that.
Or you can just stick your hand up my ass.
Hey, that's funny.
He said he did that before and he wasn't pleasant. You said you enjoyed it. All right. Hang on, put you on speaker real quick. Hang on. All right, Sean, say hi.
Hey, I'd say hi a lot louder, but I'm at a doctor's office because my girlfriend's getting an MRI.
Okay.
So I'm real quiet. She has a head injury, and so we're just checking it out. She's fine, don't worry, but she just had to have a checkup, so we're at a doctor's office right now.
Okay, everybody yell, hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean! Hey, everybody, love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support and everything, and Sonny's a good guy.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm a little out of it because I'm at a doctor's office, and that always freaks me out. But I want to get those puppets made. I was going to send you a website of this puppet company, so I can make a puppet of you.
All right, man, that sounds cool. You're off speaker now.
I see.
That was great.
I see that cool on the YouTube channel. This Sonny.
Yeah.
I see that.
I believe that. Can I tell them that you just said that? All right, he said he had his brain scanned recently, and he figured out why he's so crazy because he has the brain of a skateboarder athlete.
Oh.
A Red Bull athlete.
Oh, okay.
Like a base jumper.
Oh.
But you're not snowboarding or base jumping. Well, that is true. That is you. Your brain is always going. Yeah.
And going and going and going.
Okay, Goku, I gotta let you go. I'll call you later, all right? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so Sean Schimmel, everyone. Yeah.
I've been to a bunch of panels and they've all had Sean in them.
Whoa, that's weird. Maybe he's calling everybody. Maybe he knows when people have panels.
Chandra. You're a Chandra.
You're a Chandra, yeah. They should change your name to Chandra.
No.
Chandra. All right, any questions about the puppet that he's making? Yeah. Yeah, I do too. That's interesting.
What kind of puppet did he say it was?
He said it was, I don't think he said, but I think it was going to be a Muppet type puppet. But he said some Manhattan company makes custom Muppet style puppets, so that would be kind of cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do with that?
Something evil. I guarantee you it's going to be something evil.
I see that.
Sean Schimmel is definitely an evil bastard. Let me tell you how evil Sean Schimmel is. All right. Early when I was directing, years ago, he was in my booth, and he was, for lack of a better phrase, he was farting in the booth and telling me about it. And he'd be like, "Hey, you do not want to come in here." And I'm like, "Keep that door closed." And he, at one point, there was like we had these little booths back then. They're about this big, like telephone booths. And they had like a little hole in the wall, you know, for ventilation. And he was like going, "I gotta get some air." And he's like trying to get air through the hole.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so he left, and to his credit, he shut the door really quick so it wouldn't get through the building. And I went on break, and I was getting some coffee. I came back, and then I had to direct Laura Bailey. And Laura Bailey went into the booth, and then she gets in the booth, and I said, "Okay, Laura, your character for this is going to be," and I hear her go, I'm like, "Laura, what's wrong?" And she goes, "What is that smell?" And I went, "Oh my God, get out, abort!" And she runs out, just, what was that? And I went, Sean had gas. And she started crying. No! So Sean came to work the next day, and I told him about that, and he said, "Yes."
Oh, Lori.
So, Goku is an evil bastard. Oh, he just sent me a link to the website. Furrypuppets.com. Oh my God, they look great. Yeah, I can't wait. All right. Any other questions about Muppetry or anything? Okay, cool. How are we doing on time? We still have time.
The dinner is at 5.
The dinner is at 5. Who's going to the dinner?
Not me.
You know, what is it called? The FFA?
It's the
Final Fantasy Ball.
Final Fantasy what?
Final Fantasy Ball.
Ball? Do I have to dress up?
No.
Good, because I didn't bring anything. I brought a vest I could put over this. That's about it.
Yeah. Little snazzy.
I come to Florida. I don't think I need a jacket, you know?
I brought sexy pants.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I didn't bring any sexy pants unless you consider baggy jeans sexy, and no one does. Any other questions?
It works.
Jeff?
Are you excited to return to the main story for One Piece of Usopp? We've had the movies in the meantime. Gold just came out with Stampede. I know I was trying to get a group here to go to Stampede. And
I'm excited to be doing One Piece again. It's going to be a lot harder this time. We'll see if my voice holds up, because they want to record in several booths at the same time. because we are so far behind the Japanese, they want to try to catch up.
They're about 400 or 380.
Yeah, get ready to suck on halls all day. But I told him, I said, you know, if I do this in 3 different booths, I'm not going to be able to do anything else. I'll have to record, heal, and record, heal. That would be my week, you know. Any other questions? Well, I got 10 minutes left. Let's do this. If you want one of these prints, come over here. We'll just form a line here. They're only going to be $10 at the signing here. If you just want to ask a question, that's fine too, that you might have been afraid to ask in a panel, and you want to ask just one-on-one, that's fine. Other than that, thank you guys so much for showing up. This has been a good panel.